A couple weeks back, I shared with you the state of the church, and more specifically, the state of the church financially. And if you weren't here, or even if you're brand new to the church, it doesn't have much to do necessarily with you. But I had shared with you as far as financially where we were, and share with you just kind of where we stand. And right now, honestly, that situation hasn't changed a whole lot. We've had a few people that have the people that have given or that were giving have maybe increased their giving a little bit, and and there's been a few people that even gave some generous gifts that actually looked a little bit worse than it is now, where it looks a little bit better. But friends, we have like probably a couple months in this building. We're already talking to the property manager, and we're trying to get out of our lease, because there's just no way that we could stay in this facility with the finances that we have coming in. And the thing is, it's discouraging, it's disappointing a little bit, but at the same time, like I shared with you guys a month ago, it's something that I'm also encouraged about from the standpoint of some of the things that God's been showing Christine and I. I will tell you this. Well, let me back up for a second. We're not going to find another place that is cheaper than what we're spending here, because that's why we moved here, is because everything around us is absolutely expensive. We pay right at $3,000 a month here in this facility for this lease. We were paying way above that at the movie theater to have it one day a week. And the thing is, we're not going to, as I shared with you a couple weeks back, we're not taking the church into debt. We're not taking out loans. We're not doing that. That's not God honoring. And if we're not, as a church, if we're not willing to invest, and we're not willing to get behind the vision and the mission of the church, then it forces us as the leadership of the church to make a decision to go in another direction. And so, quite honestly, Livewire is going to look a whole lot different than maybe I expected as we get into the next couple of months. And I'll be sharing some of those things with you. But I just wanted to bring you just an update of where we are, because we shared it right at about a month ago, and that situation hasn't really changed. And so again, this is where we are. And as I said, I'm encouraged from the standpoint of where there is some discouragement, there is some disappointment. I'm also encouraged by the fact of the things that God's been sharing with Christine and I, and with our leadership, that we're going to also again be sharing with you guys. And you need to think about, as far as, is this church your church? Because I'm just letting you know right now, God's stirring up the waters, and things are about to change drastically at this church. And this is for us. This is for Livewire Church. This is what God is speaking to us. It may not be other churches or whatever, but this is what God is telling us. And this is and we're going to be obedient to it. We're going to go in the direction that God wants us to go in. And you need to be in prayer about, where is it that God's called you? And I believe, honestly, and this wasn't something that I had planned, but I think honestly it ties in with the message that we've all heard today, and just, are we going to do our thing, or are we going to do God's thing? And friends, I just, as the pastor of this church, and if I'm your pastor, as your pastor, I'm not going to steer this church into doing my thing or even your thing. We're going to do God's thing, because it's not about me. It's not about you. It's not about what we want in a church. It's not about, you guys don't do this and don't do that, or you guys, should have this. It's not about our will. It's about His will. It's about what He wants for our church, and that's where we're going to be taking the church. And so I know, again, even as I shared it about a month ago, that it's kind of ending off on a somber note. But like I said, even though it feels like there's a close on one end, there's an opening on the other end, an opening door on the other end, that I would love to share with you in the coming weeks, if you are willing to stick with us and continue on. Because as I said a month ago, And as I'm saying right now, Livewire Church will continue. It's going to look different, but we are going to continue, and our vision, our mission, it doesn't change. And in so many ways, as God has been showing us some things, we're going to be able to step into some of the things that Christine and I especially, that we've wanted to do for years, but we haven't been able to because you get locked into just the business and everything that goes on that comes along with having the church. And so we're looking forward to the coming weeks. But like I said, Livewire, the church, we will continue. Our vision and our mission to reach lost people is going to continue because, friends, I don't know when Jesus Christ is coming back, but here's what I do know. Our salvation is closer than when we first believed. Paul said that. I didn't. Our salvation is closer. It's nearer than when we first believed. And I don't want to do church by just gathering people together and saying, hey, all right, let's do another message. Let's sing a couple songs. Let's go home. Let's do the same thing. Friends, that's not me. That's not this church. We want to reach people that are far from God, people that don't know God, because that's what it's about. The only thing that I'm taking with me into eternity are people, not my money, not this building, not this, not the stuff that we have. No, the only thing that you and I are taking with us is people. And that's what we need to get behind. And if we're not about that, hey, let me just, if you get offended by this, I'm sorry. But let me just say this. If you're not about that, then please go find another great church, all right? There's plenty of great ones. We're going to be about our Father's business. We're going to reach the lost because there's a lost and dying community out there that you work with, that you're around, that I'm around, that don't know God, and we're going to reach those people who are far from God. And so, again, I want to share some of those things with you in the coming weeks. Love for you to be with us, invite you to be with us. But again, I want you to pray and ask God, where is it that you have me? Where is it that you have our family? And if the Lord tells you this church, then be obedient. Be obedient. It's going to look different. Be obedient to what God wants you to do. So, friends, thank you so much. God bless you. We'll see you next Sunday.